So apparently Gervonta Tank Davis and Jake Paul fight has fell through. We're now going to begin the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight.
You can't make this shit up, people.
What do y'all think of this fight? Do y'all want to see this fight? This is crazy. I would never thought I would see Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua in the ring together.
A bum. That's what he is. A bum.
People have said that Jake Paul like to do exhibitions and his fights are fake and this and that. And that may be a case to be studied, but I feel like guys like AJ, Anthony Joshua, and even guys like Gervonta, these guys are not going to just sit there and lay down, like the other fighters that he fought. I feel like Jake Paul has really been carried. He's obviously the A side. Every fight. He does bring a lot of eyes to boxing. I don't know how he has a lot of casual fans. What do y'all think of this fight? If these guys fight, personally, I think that Jake Paul is in over his head. I mean, the guy could barely beat someone like what's that guy named the Fury brother. He could barely beat him, and now he's moving up to someone that's even better than him. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, and it would never make sense to me. Jake Paul is an average boxer. Mind you, the guy has been boxing for some time. The guy has been he's been studying for some time. The sport of boxing. We cannot say that he's not a boxer. He is a boxer. Just not a very elite one. That I can put into words. But he is an okay boxer, and for him to jump up and fight someone like Anthony Joshua, and mind you, Anthony Joshua is not a bum. Anthony Joshua is nowhere near a bum. I feel like, Jake Paul is in over his head if this fight is true. Do I think it's going to be fake? Do I think it's going to be like an exhibition type fake fight? I don't think so. I think that AJ is a type to not, lay down like that. AJ does have an ego. We seen this when AJ lost against, we seen AJ have an ego when he lost against most of these fighters that he fought. Personally, if I was a betting man, I would definitely bet on AJ, but I feel like, obviously, Jake Paul is going to have the judges on his side, in all types of stuff. He's going to call the shots. He is the A side. We live in a boxing world, 2025, where, someone like Jake Paul calls the shots, honestly, I want to see this fight. I want to see this fight. I want to see if Jake Paul really can hang in with these guys like he been saying. He been saying that he can fight these guys. If he fight AJ, this would be a good test to see if he really can, step in the ring with elite fighters. This is his time. He wanted his shot. He's fighting a guy that's actually young this time. That's actually a champion, a young champion. I want to see this fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. Do I think Jake Paul can beat AJ? No, I don't think so. Only because I haven't seen much from Jake Paul in his fights. In most of his fights, he fought guys that was like washed up, probably older than him, smaller than him, things of that nature, as far as AJ has been, he lost a few fights. He's been on a decline recently, but I think that, it's levels to it. I think that the levels that AJ is on is different from what Jake Paul thinks he's on. Fight will be happening soon. They apparently signed the contracts. You know, I will be watching this fight, and I will be giving my thoughts, you know, on what happened in the aftermath of this fight. Well, if you want to win some money, please bet on AJ. Do not bet on Jake Paul, you know. But interesting fight nonetheless. I will be watching.
This you violate, I'm gonna have to demonstrate. You violate, I'm gonna demonstrate.
Well, stop trying to let flow, but you trying to
violate,
steal quotes and stuff.
You
trying to steal quotes, brother.
You violate, I'm gonna demonstrate.
I want y'all to play them tapes back.
You already know what I said. You violate, I'll demonstrate.
But Shakur, that guy will put anybody to sleep outside the ring.